Hola, loca. Kalinka. The figure is a derivative of Hatsune Miku, known within the Vocaloid community, specifically from a video and song titled Bacterial Contamination. The song is about a girl being bullied by her classmates, or about a girl who had an illness that wasn't contagious. However, her peers isolated her, which caused her deep depression, so she forced them to die with her. But this video isn't necessarily about her. Deino is a popular content creator turned VTuber, has been under fire lately. From his over-sexualized characters to questionable content, and now his support for generative AI, many fans have become disappointed by the changes we've seen. Welcome to Rose-Tinted Glasses and my final return. We're a series I talk about different topics, issues, and really anything that comes across my way. And today, please enjoy When Rose-Tinted Glasses Fall, the Deino Controversy. Let me just start off by saying I am disappointed as fuck. I was a huge fan of Deino3330 and all of his available creations. My first introduction to him was through BitCrusher, and then through Bacterial Contamination. I was enamored with his personal, stylized models. Listen, I'd only seen a plethora of videos made with TDA models, so to see a lot more of a realistic, MMD-compatible model, it was a surprise, and I was sold. One thing you're probably noticing is the, maturity level of these models. Yeah. Now, I'm already really desensitized to overly sexual topics or aspects of items, but yeah, these models are not meant for a younger audience. Now, I'm not here to yuck your yum when it comes to the very little details of what is appropriate and what isn't. I personally like a little vulgarity or edginess when it's done well, or at the very least, the explanation will justify the inclusion. You can imagine where this might be going. Ka, or as I understand, also known as Shei-chan when talking about the character, stands for calcium. It's an original character created by Deino3330. I'll stop mentioning the number, it's getting redundant. They are a skeleton machine hybrid who takes more humanoid forms either for cosplay or music videos. Otherwise, they're the more amalgamation form. The character, or variations of said character, appear in multiple works created or produced by Deino himself. Since Deino himself is Japanese, many of his media and collaborative projects are not in English. To say I was shocked by some of the content is, an understatement? My main issue comes with the manga itself. Now, everything here is alleged, but still warrants a trigger warning for mature topics, gore, sexual activity, inappropriate depictions of characters who have the appearance of minors, possibly. And calcium and magnesium, which is the male counterpart to calcium, are both robotic creatures that constantly featured in Deino's work. The main criticism I hear is just the overt sexual nature of the female models compared to the males. This mainly arises from the fact that the female model in MMD is more anatomically correct than the male version, genital-wise. Why, you may ask?
Well, I'm glad you did. She's a
sex doll.
Another part is that her battery port is located, very unfortunate place that you would usually have to part open to access, if you know what I mean. Which also shows the whole point of this is kind of a dirty joke, since that really isn't a place, where a battery would sit when it comes to a sex doll. I hate this. Like, what does my life become to? So again, alleged, blah blah blah. Deino has become a VTuber under the Ka persona. His main channel is primarily for announcements and commentary on his world and characters, and his first proper video is an explanation between the difference of Kalinka and Ka. His next video would be the introduction and also mention the unique model Ka Crux, a subspecies of Ka and its own channel which has since been wiped out. I will make a video about that later. In his sixth video, he mentions that Ka is a sex doll robot with a lifespan of 3 to 5 years without maintenance. However, Ka can maintain herself and has a backup self in case of emergencies. So far, we've learned that this girl, who appears as a 16-year-old in one of his works, is sexually attracted to MG. Oh, did I not mention that? My deepest apologies. It's through his own word. And keep in mind, his persona is this girl. In the next video, we learn that his character, hopefully it's about his character, good god, enjoys cosplay, masturbation, and telling dirty jokes, and sharing his info on unusual fetishes. Long story short, she lives in a different world from 21st century, where she is a sex doll. She also states, as a Dutch wife, I can change my measurements and meet the needs of most users. Also, showing a appearance from an adult to a child in an image. She also states that Yuri is a fetish for her, but doesn't excite her when it comes to people buying her, so she doesn't have a Yuri setting herself. I don't know what I am talking about. A fan later, who I'm assuming is a minor, will ask them, I want to go to school without wearing panties, but is it really okay for her to wear nothing under her skirt? Deino replies, please don't wear anything. They also want to go to school without panties. Then they show the manga where more of this content lies. Then stating in a very serious answer, if you genuinely have this fetish, I would definitely recommend not wearing panties to school, but if you do not, please do not do it. It'll be too late once you get in trouble. That final part was stressed towards minors. I'm so done with this. There's more in his channel, however, I think I got the more concerning part of it out of the way.
Now on with the manga.
Now, Deino has 12 novels and 2 mangas that I was able to access. Eventually, I do want to read and dissect the novels, however, we're just going to focus on the manga. One thing to note is that the translation is, again, a little off, so everything I'm saying is based on a bunch of research for multiple translators that it came to the similar, if not the same result. Our character here is a young girl who is technically a cyborg. She's never given an explicit age, however, a couple of translators have insinuated she is 18, prohibited from purchasing or viewing. This, however, doesn't always appear, so take it with a grain of salt. Shei-chan, which is her name, has come into the nurse's office to talk to Junto Hani. Right out of the gate, we hear that they are here because they are wondering how they can have sex with MG, Magnesium. Magnesium, of course, in this universe is a male in the school who helps save Shei-chan, Ka, after a freak accident. MG, to my knowledge, is like Ka, but he built himself as the doll. There's also something about how he appears as male, but he has the other sex, if you get what I mean. I don't know. He's pretty sadistic and he likes to tease others. Throughout the entire manga, you basically watch both of them interact, with MG constantly turning down Ka, who's very expressive and, explicitly asks for sex and fetishes. Seriously, this thing has some disgusting stuff, and it doesn't help that everyone looks like a fucking minor. We later learn that MG often turns down Ka because he can't forgive himself for being the reason she's like this. The reason why I'm skipping a lot of the manga is because there's a lot of just horny sex-related scenes, and I feel really uncomfortable reading them. So long story short, the first manga, there's a scene where Ka wants to be licked all over by a goat. It's slightly visualized, and it's very fucking disturbing. In the second manga, spoiler alert, they do end up together. The reason why I'm not really touching much of the second one, though, and why we're really speedrunning this is because, and I'm not exaggerating here, there is an attempted grape scene against our protagonist, and it's used as a plot line to get Magnesium to save Calcium and finally admit that he loves her. And I don't think I have to get into how fucking disgusting and morally disturbing it is to create such a horrid and unfortunate thing that happens in the real world just to use it as a plot point for a love story between two characters who appear as fucking minors. There are other characters like Alibi-chan, the Muto sisters, the Bugs, Zunko-chan, but they're all minor characters. To be honest, I just want to be fucking done with the manga. Lolicon. Lolicon is a slang term or phrase for Lolita complex. In Japan, it refers to a schizoid desire for drawings of young or younger looking girls. Now, I'm not going to claim that this itself is lolicon, but from the outside, it does come across as lolicon adjacent. I decided to give the manga the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were a fact of age. To my knowledge, there is no explicit mention of any of the ages of the characters, like I've said, which is why it gives us that legal gray area. So I decided to compare the manga with characters from other world likes who have the appearance of an average high schooler. I chose 3 random characters I just yanked off of Google, and I started at 18 years old. Monica, Nakajimi, Kagali. Unsurprisingly, none of the characters fit the art style associated with the high schooler, but to be fair, 18-year-olds are about to graduate, they are technically adults, and while I don't personally agree with it, I do know the age of consent in Japan is 16, which I will touch on later. So, in that case, why don't we look up 3 16-year-olds? Hatsune Miku, Kanade, and Mitsu. What was interesting to me is that these 3 completely different characters, random, appear as, well, older than the character in the manga. I would argue to the average person it comes across as lolicon adjacent. Now when it comes to legal ages, a lot of it in Japan, especially the minority, falls under 18. I'm not going to discuss the long, complicated topic of the age of consent really. Other places like America can range it from 16 to 18, so we're not going to beat around the topic with this whole thing. It's not my bush to beat. Under 18 USC Section 14666A, it is illegal to produce, distribute, or possess drawings of cartoons depicting of minors in sexually explicit content if the material is considered obscene. In Japan, however, Japanese national law criminalizes the production, sale, and distribution of CP involving real children. However, those laws are explicitly exempt from purely fictional depictions in manga, anime, or similar works. This means as long as they do not involve real children, they remain legal under national CP statutes. The final thing I have to mention is his use of AI. This isn't alleged, but he has admitted to himself that topic 1, my stance on AI. I simply like it. I'm not trying to promote AI or convince anyone else to use it. I just genuinely like AI as a technology, and as long as it remains legal, I will continue to use it. I am not interested in debating whether AI is right or wrong. I am simply using something I like. Now, I'm going to rapid fire some points here or topics that may come up as rebuttals, and afterwards I'll start getting more in depth about the main points. Fire 1. He thinks AI should help, not replace. Verdict, no. While calling AI a supporting tool, he then states, I prioritize whether the final result matches my taste, not how much effort was spent. Then following it with this, I don't consider effort itself valuable. I worked hard in the past, but only because it was necessary to create what I wanted. If a faster method appears, I will use it. After this, I think it's understandable to say that if he was able to fully create the work to what he needed and what he felt like matched his results without the effort, he would do so. Fire 2. He cares about his job and values artists. Verdict, no. He accepts that AI will replace his job, stating, Topic 3. I accept that AI may replace my job. I am a 3D modeler, so I will likely lose my job to AI someday. I see this as an unavoidable outcome of technological process. I enjoy watching technology evolve, so I'm even curious about the day that my work becomes obsolete. My core motivation here is curiosity, and I want to see how the world will change. And my belief that he doesn't fully value artists? Topic 4. I'm not an activist, I'm a hobby creator. I'm not interested in speaking out about how others should use AI. I'm here to make things that I want, not spread a message or influence society. Instead of spending energy on debates or persuasion, I would rather spend my time creating my next project. This channel exists for me to do what I want creatively, which he's not wrong. He doesn't care. He sees it as pointless because he believes his job will become obsolete, which tells us how much he truly values his own job. Fire 3. He doesn't care about the environmental impact. Verdict, kind of unknown. This is his stance. Topic 6 about the environmental concerns, written intentionally with a stronger tone. I cannot agree with the argument that AI is harmful to the environment. The electricity system used by the entire internet is far greater than the AI alone. If you want to protect the environment, then stop using YouTube before criticizing AI. Singling out AI for environmental blame is a contradictory statement when all the modern technology relies on massive energy consumption. It's rather ambiguous. I won't claim that he doesn't care about the environmental impact, but what I can say is that it comes across more defensive than a legitimate point, but it does bring up a good point. What is the actual impact? Right now, AI is a key topic in environmental issues, and the reason why I bring this up is because Deino does make a good point. Singling out AI for environmental blame is contradictory when all modern online services rely on massive energy consumption. Data centers, which power the internet, consume a large quantity of water. A single data center in Iowa consumes about 1 billion gallons of water in 2024. While medium-sized ones can use about, 110 million gallons annually. Not to mention, AI isn't the main cause of environmental issues. Global warming from fossil fuels, politicization of climate crisis, biodiversity loss, plastic pollution, etc. AI, while not any less damaging, is just another penny on top of a large stack of them. It was just the final straw. Regardless of what is made, effort has value and time is precious. Why on earth would people try and find worth in watching your content when you yourself couldn't even find work in making it? Thank you so much for watching my video. It was a blast. I know I kind of rushed through it, but nerves, I guess. I will see you all another day. Adios, loca.